Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rahat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. Jupiter is making a transit on 14th of May entering Gemini, and it is going to stay in the sign of Gemini overall till 2nd of June 2026. The annual transit of Jupiter is here. Before I talk about how this is going to have an impact in the most precise and crisp manner for all 12 ascendant or the moon signs, very important message. Jupiter changes signs every year. It takes about 12 years to make a circle around the entire zodiac pertaining to that house, because Jupiter gives you a feel-good factor by the virtue of its placement and also by the virtue of its transit. Secondly, Jupiter is making a transit in the natural third house of the zodiac belt that represents free will. Free will is seen from 3rd, 6th, 10th and 11th house. Third house being the first stepping stone, the sign of Gemini. It is a very independent sign, though it's a dual sign. This also represents that you have to take things in your own hands. Do not rely so much on transits. Transits are not going to govern your life or your decision making. These are just supporting factors. You cannot expect anyone to tell you within a few minutes how your life is going to be for the next 1 year. What are some of the things that you must do? But yes, you can have some takeaways. You can be prepared for certain good times. You can be prepared for certain hardships. You can plan ahead of the time and of course understand these energies and how to deal with these energies. But you cannot expect transits to govern your life. And this is where you have to step into the situation and take things in your own hands. So focus on listening to some good messages. Stop listening to some of the negative messages, because it is going to have a huge psychological impact on you that you must remember. Let's talk about Aries ascendants. For Aries, Jupiter is now entering your third house. It has been making a transit in your second house all throughout, where it is supposed to be the significator of this house. Jupiter holds an important lordship for you because it's your Bhagyesha, it's an important planet. But this is a moderate placement because at the natural level, Jupiter gains Maran Karak, or it is a death-like position when it is in the third house, or even when it is making a transit. It is not the most comfortable position for Jupiter because this is where it loses its significance. It signifies knowledge, it signifies wisdom, it is a significator of teaching, the natural Karaka or significator of wealth, of children, of your decisions, your ability to expand. So all of these things will take additional amount of efforts that you would put. Now one thing is quite sure, because Jupiter is making a transit in the third house, so you will feel good with regards to matters of these houses. So you will not shy away from putting efforts. Any efforts that you put, will have a feel good factor with regards to these efforts. We see communication from this house. So Jupiter wants to bring in a lot of wisdom in your communication. You will make sense in terms of what you speak. You will be very conscious of your communication, when to say, what to say, trying to understand the timing, particularly when it comes to dealing with people who hold an influence or who hold an authority. We also see short journeys from this house. So the 3-9 axis is pretty active. So you could go on journeys. These journeys might bring fruitful results. If you work in a multinational setup, you will get travel opportunities outside of your home country or within your home country. This could be a short travel or a journey that you will take. Additionally, one way to channelize this Jupiter is to go on spiritual retreat, on any religious travel, shrines, religious places, places of worship. So this is what you should probably take. Third house also represents valor, your courage. Jupiter is not linked to courage or valor, but this somehow will give you the courage to put in efforts and to communicate, to step out of your comfort zone. This is something which you must understand. You will take new initiatives, but you will be slow in terms of taking these initiatives. Your pace will somehow become slow, so you will welcome a little bit of slowness in life, and it's okay. It is okay to take a pause, to take a step back, because you want to bear the fruits of these results. Okay. Now, you also must be conscious of building any kind of overconfidence when it comes to your networking and your ability to build a personal brand, because you could develop overconfidence that you have a wider space of network and you will be able to influence anyone. But what you say, you should make sense in order to influence people without authority. So you have to be conscious about the fact that ego should not sit in your head, which could result in overconfidence. It is an excellent time to start any skill-based learning. So anything, see, because why skill-based learning? Because third house naturally represents your arms and hands, all right? So it has a direct link to what you do in terms of using your hands. So if we talk about, ancient days, most of the skill-based job required men and women to use their hands, right? So this is a time when you will not shy away from venturing into skills-based learning. So a clear message for you. And if you build your skills, you will have newer pursuits. You will be able to achieve some bigger goals in life. You would be in a position that you will underestimate yourself. This could hit your confidence as well. So this is a time when you should not underestimate yourself. You should take the right steps. You could take some impulsive risks as well. So this could be a good time to take some impulsive decisions, very quick decisions, very fast decisions. Sometimes you don't have to wait for it. See, because you will naturally have a tendency for slowness. So being impulsive could be challenging for you, could be hard for you. And this is where you need to step into the situation and bring in a lot of wisdom in what you say, what you share. Let us now talk about Taurus Ascendants. And for Taurus Ascendants, this Jupiter's transit is happening in your second house. Now, Jupiter is said to be the significator of the second house as well. Second house or bhava represents your family, your kutumb. It represents your finances because we see accumulation from this house. So, accumulation of everything, your finances, your assets, things that are dear to you, things that you like to protect. And of course, two things that I could think of is your family and your finances that anyone would love to protect and accumulate as well. So this could be quite a good time period when it comes to building finances because two things Jupiter does. So when it makes a transit in a particular house, it makes you feel good with regards to matters of these houses. So you'll have a feel-good factor in terms of dealing with your finances and making some important investment-related decisions, in leveraging your speech, because we also see speech from the second house, and it will expand matters related to these houses. Harmony at home, within your family. So you will be more connected to your family members, your immediate family members, and of course your wider network relatives as well, paternal as well as maternal. So good time when it comes to any financial manifestation or making certain important decision. Jupiter also represents knowledge. So see, wealth of Jupiter is wealth of knowledge. This is what the real wealth is. If we say that Jupiter is the Karaka or the significator of the second house. There is also a concept of Karako Bhavnash, but that is more or less applied in the natal placement of Jupiter with certain terms and conditions, right? I am of a different opinion because Jupiter mostly gives very good results in the second house. It will help you gain knowledge-based work. So at work, you will be very much focused on improving your knowledge, learning something new, uncovering something that is unknown to you, and that is how you will probably be able to perform. Look at some forward-looking long-term investments that could pay you good returns in the long run, right? You will try to build a value system around you, within your family, within your work, very high morals, very high principles and values. You would definitely see your overall mindset changing because this house naturally represents your consumption, what you consume. And Jupiter is all the right things in the world, all the ethical things in the world. So good time to make changes in your diet, for investment, for savings. And a word of caution is that you could probably get involved in luxurious expenditure. Your expenses could really increase over the next few months because you will not think twice before buying something or indulging in an expensive item. So avoid any kind of overindulgence because you have to protect your finances. You don't have to be extravagant, okay? Of course, you might have some aspirations of living a kind of life, but this kind of behavior is something which you could consciously avoid because this is a time and calling for you to manage your family and your finances and the kind of knowledge that you can gain over the course of next 1 year. Now for Gemini ascendants, Jupiter is entering your Lagna in your ascendant. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to come into your ascendant. So this transit is happening after 12 years. So whenever Jupiter makes breakthrough transits, if it's a Jupiter return from someone, that happens after 12 years, or if it enters your Lagna or some key houses, it is quite a breakthrough transit for such ascendants. So firstly, Jupiter gains directional strength. It is Digbali. So they are blessings of Lord Shiva. You will have an inclination towards Shiva. See, a lot more inclination than you would. I would highly recommend that you do a Rudra Abhishek this year and welcome Jupiter in your Lagna, in your ascendant. So it's a time for major personal development. That is the kind of phase which I could see, because Jupiter makes you feel good in any house that is making a transit. So you will feel good about yourself, and that is the biggest thing that someone can have. This is the biggest asset. When you feel good about yourself, your decision making will be right. You will be more clear in terms of your choices. You will be more conscious in terms of taking the right steps at the right time. You will build a lot of wisdom. You will have clarity, inner clarity, which will of course foster better decision making. So it's a good phase for personal development, which will improve your decision making, and that will come naturally to you. You will be very confident about your decisions because Jupiter is Jiva. It represents all the living beings, and that is making a transit in your ascendant. It will help you expand your outlook. You will be very compassionate towards other living beings, other beings, whether it's humans, animals. You will have to do a lot of welfare this year towards everyone in this world. And of course, you could take some steps. Maybe you could work towards animal welfare, or you could probably support people at old age homes or children at daycares. This is where you could probably invest your energies from a karmic standpoint. It will help you expand your outlook. Your social status is going to increase. You will have a greater influence on other people because people will come to you for advice. They would want to take your advice because they feel you're going to give them the right advice. And of course, Jupiter plays a very important role in all spiritual knowledge. It's the natural 9th and the 12th house ruler, right? In your case, it rules 2 Kendra houses, also becomes a Badikesh, but this will definitely bring spiritual inclination. And to avoid any ill effects of obstacles, worship Ganpati, worship Lord Ganesha. He is the remover of all obstacles. Great time for education, any education related pursuits, any teaching that you do, that you deliver towards others. And your self-branding, self-promotion. You will have very high stature. At a downside, you could develop ego as well, because you could probably be in a situation wherein you know it all, and you would probably have an authority over others. So this is where you have to be cautious. You have to practice humility. You can become overly idealistic. You will have very strong ideology, which could be, of course, cause a bit of conflict with other people. In case it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't have an impact, then it's fine. Protect your idealism, but at the same time be a bit flexible as well as you can over the course of next few months. Cancer ascendants or the Cancer moon signs, this transit is happening in your 12th house. 12th house of moksha, losses, expenditure, your higher self-consciousness. It is the highest moksha bhava or the spiritual house. 4, 8, 12 is the moksha trine, and 12th house holds a great importance here. For us to be more self-aware, this house plays a very important role. So this is a very introspective transit for you. Because Jupiter is an important planet for you, and when it makes a transit in the 12th house, it pushes you to become more self-aware. Jupiter is also Ucha Abhilashi during this transit, because its next phase when it enters ascendant is the exalted transit of Jupiter. So it's in a bit of a joyous ride. So introspection is the key. You have to take a step back from the situation, reflect, introspect, try to understand what is happening around you, because a lot will go on over the next few months. You will have to cope up with the pace. You will have to cope up with the expectations of other people, which could be quite high. This could become a constant cause of stress, but on the brighter side, a huge opportunity for you to build foreign connections with those people who hold wisdom, who hold the power of knowledge. For you, it is important that you learn from other cultures and at the same time be a bit flexible. You could go on retreats, you will go on journeys, you will go on travel, and this is something which you must leverage over the next few months. You must take a break at the necessary interval to avoid any consistent stress related situation. Your charitable work is going to increase. You will be more philanthropic over the next few months, and this is something which you must do from a karmic standpoint. Help others, donate to the best of your capacity. Now, this is, you're probably spending, there are expenses involved, and this is where you are doing it from a karmic standpoint. If you don't do charity, if you don't, of course, help others, you will end up increasing your expenses on irrelevant things, right? So, this is a very clear message for you. And of course, if you do some charity, this will give you inner peace. And when you have inner peace, you will have inner growth, and also your surroundings are likely to get better. Excellent time for foreign travel, for any beginning of anything related to meditation, self-healing, and also healing of others, because your 6-12 axis is pretty active. So first you need to, of course, heal yourself, and then, of course, spend energies in terms of healing others. Watch your sleep, and this is more to, of course, help you in order to channelize these energies, because if you fix your sleep over the next few months, you will be in a good position. Otherwise, this could cause minor health issues. So your health issues could be related to your sleep. Okay. You could have some escaping tendencies. So you would want to, of course, if you were to step away from the situation, you could also develop a sense of escapism, that you don't want to get into this discussion, maybe with your spouse or your boss or the people that you work with. You would want to avoid a conflicting situation. Okay, so maybe a number of times avoiding something or staying in the state of silence might not be good for you. So you might have to step into the situation and try to see how collaboratively you can resolve this situation. So try to understand the other person's perspective and not escape, not run away from the situation, right? So this is something which you have to take care of over the next few months. For Leo ascendant signs or the moon signs, Jupiter or Devaguru Brihaspati is making a transit in your 11th house, Labh Bhav. Jupiter is also one of the significators of the 11th house, the primary significator, because it signifies 2, 5, 9 and 11 houses. Now this house represents your income, your material gains, your material success, recognition, fame is seen from this house, gains of all kind. We also see bigger enemies from this house. But Jupiter is friendly to your Lagna Lord Surya, so it will help you overcome bigger obstacles, bigger enemies in life. It is a very auspicious transit for you. Because firstly, Jupiter makes you feel good. Even from your Lagna or your moon, it makes you feel good any house it is making a transit. So you will cherish friendships. You will find meaningful relationships during this time, because we see friends also from the 11th house. So it's quite auspicious. So you will gain with your friends. There could be a possibility that you might establish a business partnership with one of your friends over the next few months in case your dasha is supportive. You could be recognized, because Jupiter holds an important lordship for Leo ascendants. You will realize that it is the way of life for you is to have long-term goals and not to look at short-term quick wins, but have the objectives very clear and how you can manifest achieving those goals, how you could probably have certain milestones. You will expand your network, you will make new alliances, new friends. This is an excellent time for you to build your personal brand, because you will naturally have the power to influence other people, because other people will listen to you. You will have less obstacles, less opposition. Though, of course, there is a concept of Karako Bhavnash, but I seldom believe that Jupiter makes you feel good in that house. So, something that you did in the past, now is the time to reap rewards. Some rewards that have been delayed, some payments that have been delayed, and if you've faced some delay in terms of settlement of your finances, this is a time when you will see results. Maybe you've had a possibility of making a transaction, you're trying to sell an asset, you're probably trying to liquidify your funds, and you've not had success, you've had delay. Now you will see the results. Now, on a caution side, you will have high expectations. Okay, so you will have to manage these inflated expectations of other people. So you will have a social pressure, because when your social quotient is expanding and it is quite high, so this could cause a constant sense of pressure that you're going or attending an event. There is a certain set of expectations that are there. So maybe you might get very cautious of what you would wear and how you would deal with others. And at work also, you will deal with very high expectations. Sometimes it could be unrealistic as well. So you have to manage these expectations at home, at work, within your social circle. Otherwise, this could be detrimental for you. You have to learn the power of saying no. You have to put a full stop somewhere. You have to take a pause, take a break. Otherwise, you could probably be setting yourself for failure, and this is something which you do not want. Of course, if you fail, learn from it. If you make mistakes, learn from it. But manage the expectations of everyone around you over the course of next few months. Now for Virgo ascendants or Virgo moon signs, Jupiter is making a transit in your 10th house, the highest Kendra or quadrant house, one of the most important. 10th house represents kingdom or Rajya. It is all about your work, profession, your actions in the society, what you do to survive and sustain yourself as far as worldly matters are concerned. Now, this is a very strong transit for you because Jupiter is also one of the significators of the 10th house. 10th house has multiple significators. The primary significator is Mercury. Jupiter signifies knowledge related to work, wisdom, teaching, what you learn, what you probably share with others, sharing of knowledge. We see Jiva, so sustenance of work is also seen from Jupiter. So it's quite a strong transit when it comes to career growth. So any matters pertaining to your work, you will get support. Because remember one thing, that Jupiter makes you feel good, whichever house it is making a transit in, and it expands the signification because it's the biggest planet. So you will feel good about your work. If you've been through a stage wherein you have been a bit dissatisfied, or you lack a sense of contentment, or you're in a job or a kind of work which is not fulfilling your desires or your state of happiness, now is the time to step into something which could be mentally supportive for you. This can also give you a lot of visibility and recognition because your actions will count. Whatever actions that you take, you will be recognized for these actions at work. So it's an excellent time to get awarded. You could step into senior roles, leadership, authority related roles, wherein you're responsible to coach others, to lead others. Or you could become an expert consultant. You can become really an expert consultant or an advisor to someone. So these kind of opportunities could arise for you where other people are seeking your expert advice. So it's a good time to develop subject matter expertise in your line of work. And of course, at a same side, you have to manage your personal life along with your work life, because don't get so busy in expanding your work related matters that it has a negative impact on your personal life. You will have an elevation in your professional status. You will build a lot of trust of people at work, but at the same time, you must remember that you have to continue to maintain the trust of people in your personal life, at home as well. You might have an inflated ego, or you will be more self-righteous during this time, which means that you would probably feel that what I say or think is right and other people should follow my advice. Now this could be a little bit detrimental when it comes to relationship, because you will have a kind of expectation that your partner or spouse needs to follow or need to have. And of course with peers as well, with other people, with everyone you deal with. Right? So don't undermine other people. So take their advice, take their suggestion into account if you were to foster an environment of growth. And this is a very clear message for you in terms of a word of caution as well. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. Now what is happening with Jupiter's transit is, it is making a transit in your 9th house. 9th house of fortune, bhagya, long journeys, higher education, your father or father figure, your coach, teacher, or a mentor is seen from the ninth house. It's a very important house. It is the highest trinal bhav, the highest trine. It represents self-righteousness. It represents all the correct things, all the right duties that you have or do in your life. It's a very auspicious transit because Jupiter is also the significator, primary significator of the ninth house. And it has the power to expand luck or your fortune. See, we always say that regardless of whatever hard work that we do or put, there is always an element of luck that plays a very important role. Bhagya plays a very important role. Of course, Bhagya cannot in any way replace your hard work. It cannot replace the kind of efforts that you put. But at the same time, you need a little bit of fortune in order to succeed. So if you're going for higher education, higher studies, it is favorable. You will develop a kind of wisdom that other people will come to you to seek advice. So you will be in a dominant position. Now, when you are in a dominant position, you could also develop overconfidence, and this is something which you have to be mindful, which you have to be careful of, because that could make you a lot complacent, and that could perhaps turn things around in a very quick succession. So you have to be careful on this matter. New travel opportunities will come this year, so you could move outside of your home country, you could settle outside as well, depending on your ongoing dasha antardasha. But I would encourage you to plan ahead of the time and make sure that you have a bit of movement in your work to ensure that you grow. There's also some relationship karma that you're going to have in the next few months, either related to your father or a mentor or a guru or someone who you look up to. Or it could be people who hold authority with the government as well. So you're likely to deal with some tax related matters or government related matters or paperwork. And it's an excellent time to take advice of either your father or your teacher or your mentor or anyone who you look up to, anyone who you count or who you trust. You do not necessarily need to have a guru, but at the same time, someone who you could count on. So it's a very positive transit when it comes to pursuing your academic pursuits. So academically, you would do well. You could go for masters, higher education, and also if not degree related courses, you could go for professional certification and qualifications. This will also increase your spiritual quotient because we see a lot of spiritual learning from the ninth house, and Jupiter represents spirituality. It gives you the power of spiritual knowledge. Vedanga is very closely related to Jupiter. Jupiter is the one who signifies, who represents Vedanga. You would write. I will highly encourage you to pen down your thoughts. For those who have such pursuits, might end up publishing or publishing a book as well. So I won't be surprised, but avoid having overconfidence, because you will have a very strong conviction when it comes to your belief. Your belief system is going to be very strong, which is good, because if it is good, you are the messenger of your dharma. But at the same time, do not be complacent over the next few months. Now for the Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs, this transit of Jupiter is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is a very mysterious house. So there are some primary rules of this house. So one is having benefics in the 8th house is good, malefics in the 8th house is not so good. Jupiter is the natural benefic and it's also the functional benefic for you. So having Jupiter as a placement or even from a transit point of view, it is okay to have. Being a mysterious house, Scorpio is also a very mysterious sign. So firstly, whichever house Jupiter is making a transit, it makes you feel good with regards to matters of those houses. And it helps you expand as well with regards to the significations. Though, of course, this transit will give you more or less mixed results. It will depend on your ongoing dasha, antardasha, what are you running. But it is expanding your transformation, because we see transformation from the 8th house. And the transformation that has a lot of depth, and that is why we see deep transformation, which is sustainable. It is not that you transformed and then you're back to square one in the next few days. So there is a certain amount of sustenance here, because situation will push you to change, push you to transform. This is also a very good time to manage your finances, to make some important long-term decisions pertaining to your wealth, in case you're expecting any decision related to your inheritance. You could gain from it. You could have some favors from your parents, from elders in your family over the next few months. This is also a time for inner work. See, because you need a lot of introspection, because 8th house represents your Nija dosha, which is your weakness. And Jupiter is expanding everything, so it will expand your weaknesses as well. This is where you have to counter by either meditating or trying to understand your true potential. So how you can control them. This is where you have to remedy your moon. So strengthening your mind is very important. Any work that involves research will be good for you. This transit particularly could be very favorable for your partner, because their resources are likely to grow, are likely to increase. They're likely to get newer opportunities. Their financial status is going to increase, so they could have an incentive or a rise in income in case there is a conducive dasha antardasha. Now, learning Jyotish could be a therapy for you over the next few months. It's a very good phase to learn any form of occult, whether it's Jyotish, astrology, tarot, numerology, right? Any of these sciences where there's a lot of research that is involved, or any work that involves plenty of research, because that is something which will increase. You would love to do it. You will have a feel-good factor. So go for some of these pursuits which can act as a therapy for you, which will make you emotionally stable. Because this time period could probably be a bit volatile when it comes to your health and well-being, and also at the emotional front. This calls for attention, because of course when there are certain sudden incidents in your life, it could make you emotionally weak, vulnerable, but you need to accept your vulnerability, and you have to take charge of your health and well-being. Watch your weight, watch what you eat, what you consume. Your lifestyle really needs a lot of attention over the next few months. Now for the Sagittarius ascendant signs or the moon signs, Jupiter is your Lagna Lord, ascendant Lord, so it's an important planet for you. It holds an important lordship, and regardless of your dasha antardasha, you will always have an impact when Jupiter move signs through a year. Now this transit is happening in your 7th house. 7th house, people say that it's all about marriage, spouse, but it means a lot of other things as well. It represents all those people in your life who are opposite to you. Your external world of people, things, events. It represents peace and also war. Wars are seen from this house. Peace is also seen from this house, because this is the Jaya Bhava. It is also related to how giving you are as far as your nature is concerned, because this is where we see Daya, or your ability to help others, your ability to give, whether you're selfish or you're giving in nature. So greed is also seen from this house. So it's a very good time when it comes to building long-term strategic partnerships, when it comes to your personal growth, professional growth, and also marriage-related prospects. So in case you've been looking forward to settling down or getting married, tying the knot, this time period could be favorable, because it's your Lagna Lord making a transit in the 7th house. But remember, whenever Jupiter makes a transit in the 7th house, regardless of whichever house or sign it is, it expands the significations. It makes you feel good. So you like to feel good when you are in a relationship, when you are with someone. So it could expand relationships as well. It could probably bring in shifting tendencies, which might not be good. So you have to take care of it. See, Jupiter loses direction in this house because it gains directional strength in the 1st house. So this is where you have to channelize your inner thoughts. You will get a lot of alliances, you will get a lot of opportunities, right? And you might want to pick or probably sail in multiple boats, and this could be quite detrimental for any association, right? So do not end up breaking trust of someone. Okay, go for collaborations, and of course, disclose everything. Be very open and honest in terms of your decisions. Avoid favoring someone for your personal interest and gains, because this could be detrimental towards your relationship with other people. Your aim is to develop harmonious relationship and how you can gain from others. This could be a very good transit for your spouse. In case their dasha and dasha is supportive, in case you're married, they could see new opportunities of growth. They will feel good at the personal level, right? Your morals will be very high over the next few months, but this could also make you superior. Okay, so you need to develop your morals, but you will feel superior as well. You would want to impose your ideas and thoughts on others, on your business partners, with people who you deal with. So avoid imposing your ideas on others. Try to understand their perspective as well. This is how you'll probably have a win-win kind of a situation. It's a good time for personal transformation. It is a good time for expansion of all kinds. So you will invest in assets, in fixed assets, in increasing your capacity. This could be a good time for you to purchase or buy a new house as well, or a vehicle as well, or anything that brings you happiness, that helps you feel good. Now for the Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs, Jupiter is now coming in your 6th house. 6th house represents all the weaknesses of your mind, the Shad Ripus as we call it. It represents things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your daily routine. Job is seen from the 6th house. Your growth is seen from the 6th house because it is one of the Upachaya Bhavas. Service, Seva is seen from the 6th house. What you do for the outer world, how you can heal others, how you can help others and heal others as well. So this is a very service and a discipline oriented transit, because whenever Jupiter makes a transit in a particular house, it makes you feel good with regards to matters of that house. So it will bring in a sense of discipline, though Jupiter doesn't represent discipline, but it represents knowledge and wisdom. It represents teaching. It represents Jiva, all the living beings. So you will be very focused on serving others, working towards the good health of others, helping heal others, or probably their healing journeys, which will also probably want you to focus on your health and well-being. So your health is going to improve, but that will call for certain efforts, that will call for certain discipline, that will call for change of certain habits. You might give away some of the bad habits that you've been carrying for a long period of time, and you will come in contact with good people. You will have some good healthy habits, right? If there are cases of any disputes, any debts, any legal issues, any litigation, now is the time when these issues can be resolved intelligently. So your thinking and decision making will play a very vital role here. So you have to believe in yourself and your power of conviction, because you will be able to manage all of these things. You're likely to repay any debts that you have or manage any disputes by the power of your wisdom. This could be a very good time to sit for any competitive examinations if you're a student, to get new job opportunities, and also your work ethics will be in place. So you'll be very ethical about your decision making, and you will develop a value system. You would want to associate yourself in a job that aligns with your values, with your ethics, and helpful for you to overcome any sort of competition. But one thing you have to be cautious of is that you might end up overcommitting at work. So you might end up setting some very, very challenging or stretch targets or goals for yourself. And that could probably become a cause of concern, right? So do not overcommit, avoid that, right? Do not let this ignorance overpower your mind. So be aware of your situation and try to be realistic when it comes to setting deadlines, when it comes to manage the expectations of other people. And remember one thing, that it is not that being overcommitted will bring you success. So if you probably set realistic targets or goals, set smart goals, this could be a better time period for you. and leverage the power of service. Do a lot of seva towards other charity, donations, particularly at places of worship, will be very good for you from a karmic standpoint. For Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs, Jupiter or Devaguru Brihaspati is now entering your 5th house. Okay, so Jupiter is also the primary significator of the 5th house that represents your future. Now, there's always a debate why 5th house is future, why not it is past life. We see children from the 5th house, and that's a very simple explanation that this house is all about your future. It is about how creative you are, your creative self-expression, something that you're very passionate about, somewhere where you have an unconditional love. We also see education, your secondary education from the 5th house. A kind of intellect is seen from this house, your ability to reach positional success, great heights, and therefore this house holds a great importance. So it's mostly a favorable transit because this is quite excellent for any creative pursuit. So you will feel good. Anything that you do from a creative standpoint, whether it is arts, performing arts, fine arts, acting, dancing, any of your personal interest, any work that you do probably outside of your profession, okay, your hobbies, your interests. So wherein you get a chance to demonstrate your creativity. You will feel good about it because Jupiter makes you feel good about matters pertaining to that house. You'll be more connected to your children. In case you're looking forward to having a childbirth, this could be a very favorable transit for you. New love interest could come. Education pursuits could come, but this will be more on a short-term basis. So I would probably not look at formal education or you going for a master's or a PhD or something, but more of a professional short-term certifications or education that you could probably have. So it's a period of good intellectual as well as romantic growth. So you will build your intellect, so you can manage your finances, you can manage your resources, and there will be romantic growth as well. As a caution, word of caution, do not get distracted by some ungrounded ideas. So you have to be very clear because you will have a lot of ideas going on in your mind, right? Because it gives you the power of thinking. Okay, mantras are going to work very well for you for any remedial measures. So, but with lots of ideas and that too the ungrounded ones comes a lot of distraction. You need to be very clear of your path. So you have to have a goal or a mission that is very clear where you want to probably see yourself, because this is all about your future. Whether it's about your education, children, family, work, clarity of thinking needs to be there because you cannot do or achieve everything at the same time. Somewhere you have to compromise. Somewhere you have to make some adjustments. It is not about letting yourself down, but it is about being realistic, right? So if you get into any speculative investments, in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, you could have gains. However, you have to trade with caution. This is where the placement of Mercury is very important in your chart. You will involve in creative pursuits that would flourish. You will be more connected to your children. And of course, this time period is very good for their growth as well. For Pisces ascendant signs or the moon signs, Jupiter is making a transit in your 4th house, which is the Sukha Bhav. We see happiness from this house, your state of comfort, where you feel most safe, most protected. Your mother is seen from this house. Jupiter is the lord of your ascendant, it's the Lagna lord, so regardless of the time period that you're running, Dasha, Antardasha, Jupiter's transit will always bring significant effects, significant shifts in your life. Jupiter, your Lagna lord, making a transit in the 4th house, it's a very strong support system, a very strong ecosystem that is building at your home. So you're going to get a lot of support from your home, people who live in your home, or if you live outside of your home country, people who are back at your homeland. You are likely to build your assets or make some decision pertaining to your property, pertaining to your real estate, that could probably help you have some gains. So this could be a very good time to venture out in buying a property or investing in real estate in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. You will relook at your emotional foundation because you've gone through some turbulent times emotionally. Now is the time to build mental strength. And this will come with meditation. Because fourth house represents all those things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content. It represents your mother. So it's a very good transit for your mother's health in case there have been any issues there. You will build your emotional foundations which will help you become more intelligent at the emotional level. So you will learn how to navigate and deal with different people, different situations, some of the very tough, difficult situations as well. You will focus a lot on harmony, domestic harmony, harmony at work as well, and a harmonious way of life will be a new thinking for you. Invest in real estate. This is very important time period for you. You will focus a lot on bringing inner peace. You can have some gains from your maternal relationships. You could upgrade your vehicle, upgrade your assets. You can buy a new car over the next few months, or do some transactions or some deal that is pertaining to your existing vehicle. Some changes that you could bring in there. This is also quite likely. Now, as a word of caution, you might be dependent on others at an emotional level. So one thing you must do is avoid any kind of emotional dependency. So you have to be realistic here. You could also be in a comfort zone, right? So it will be difficult for you to step out of your comfort zone because you would probably like your routine or the way of things, which could probably be detrimental towards growth opportunities. So avoid stepping into the comfort zone. You have to go out there in the open. You have to interact with others, travel. Make sure that you're moving around, that you're not sitting for long hours. Otherwise, you could become like a couch potato. So you have to focus on your health and well-being here. Make sure that you move. Make sure that you interact with as many people as you can. Make sure that you're also building your personal brand, that you're focusing consciously on improving your position at work by making sure that you make your presence felt. And how will you make that felt? By communication, by ensuring that you showcase what you're doing and in the most creative manner, and this is going to help you over the next few months. So friends, this was a short, crisp, unique perspective on Jupiter's transit in the sign of Gemini. I hope and believe this transit brings a lot of blessing, brings the power of wisdom in our communication and help us all grow to the best extent that we can. Thank you very much. God bless you all.